talks. There are several new developments this morning in the aftermath of the deadliest plane crash in America in well over 20 years. The FAA has indefinitely closed airspace near the Reagan Airport to nearly all helicopter traffic. The AP is reporting that the Federal Aviation Administration is going to significantly restrict all helicopter traffic in the area around the Reagan National Airport, and it does appear that it at this point is mostly going to be allowed simply to police and medical helicopters because of the ongoing recovery mission. This is according to an official briefed on the matter. Some of the airspace had already been restricted because of search and recovery, but now the agency responsible is indefinitely banning most helicopters from using those low-to-the-ground routes that run under or parallel to the pattern of Reagan National, which, by the way, they still have not reopened the second runway, runway 33, as it's called. Only runway 1 is currently active, and it is said to be either the busiest or one of the busiest single runways anywhere in the USA, with hundreds and hundreds of flights every day. Also, President Trump announced on Truth Social that the Army Black Hawk helicopter was flying too high at the time of the crash, and this also coincides with reports from the New York Times and others. In fact, the president tweeted or posted on Truth Social earlier this morning it was far above the 200-foot limit. That's not really too complicated to understand, is it? So that's what he posted just this morning on Truth Social. Now, the max altitude where the Black Hawk was flying at the time of the crash, we still don't know if they were using night vision goggles, which if they were, might have improved the situation, or perhaps they were actually using it. But the max is supposed to be 200 feet above the ground. And so this all happened just a few miles from Capitol Hill. And when you really take a look at what's unfolding now in Washington, it all happened, as I say, just miles from Capitol Hill. And honestly, there's new scrutiny on Congress, who's supposed to be overseeing these agencies, as well as the Department of Transportation. How do we get to the point where we have these staffing shortages in air traffic control? Reportedly, the night of the crash, they had one person instead of two trying to communicate with such a busy airport with the incoming passenger planes, and at the same time communicate with helicopters that were flying in that corridor. The bottom line is, I think people across the country want to know what decisions can be made in the coming months to make sure something like this never happens again. So I got into all of this a little earlier this morning with Shannon Bream, the host of Fox News Sunday. All right, Shannon, let's get right into it. The president said it's possible that DEI policies could have played a role in the plane crash, and he did say that standards for hiring air traffic controllers were lowered after he left office. So whether they're fully qualified or not, you would think that that would mean that the pool would be larger and they'd be hiring a lot more people. But instead, we keep hearing about severe staffing shortages at a lot of airports, and there have been so many close calls in the last couple of years. So what is going on? And what do you think is going to be happening in the coming months in Washington? It seems like everybody's demanding answers.
Yes, they are. I mean, we know that 67 families and groups of loved ones are still in shock and grief over what happened the other night. And people want answers. And I think that's why there's a rush to try to get some answers. Here's what we know. NTSB says they've got the black boxes. They think they'll have a preliminary finding at least within 30 days. There's also, there are multiple streams of reporting now that say that staffing was not normal. Report that a supervisor let someone leave early that night who was also helping and responding responsible for managing that traffic between helicopters and airplanes in that area, which is super congested. So we have a lot more questions than answers at this point. But as you know, the president is not going to be shy in engaging and having these, back and forths with media and with the press as he throws out a number of things he thinks could be responsible. We just don't know yet.
And do we think, are there accusations that somewhere along the line, whether it was at the previous administration or up on Capitol Hill, that people were asleep at the switch because, these staffing shortages, from what I'm seeing, are just extensive across the entire country?
Yeah, and there have been warnings for years about this. It is a super stressful job. It's not easy to recruit people. There is a mandatory retirement age, to try to preserve the health and well-being of people and their alertness and ability to do the job. But it is one of those few federal jobs that seems like it's tough to really recruit and maintain people who are willing to do this job and do it well. So going to be a lot of questions in Congress about how you do a better job of recruiting those folks. At the same time, they're also talking about here in Washington how to thin out the herd of federal workers, and they're hoping this buyout plan may do that.
Do you have any indication if that's working? If you're a federal employee and you don't want to come back to the office and you've heard that there could be job cuts coming, it seems like the acceptance rate of the buyout would be, more than 2 or 3%.
Especially if you're nearing retirement and you think, okay, this is an extra 7 or 8 months of pay that I can get without having to go back to the office. So I do think you're going to have some takers, especially because, listen, the Washington Post, USA Today, a number of publications have been for the past couple of months doing these deep dive stories about how people inside federal agencies are upset, they're scared, they're furious that Trump is president again. Well, maybe some of them take these buyouts. We're told it would save hundreds of billions of dollars a year if you let some of the federal workforce be downsized simply through attrition.
There is what Shannon Bream had to say. Just interesting. We're able, over the just 5 minutes or so that I get with her every Friday, to cover a number of topics. We started off talking about demanding answers now out of Washington, D.C., supposed to keep the air waves and the air traffic control patterns as safe as possible. So Celeste joins us. Well, good morning, Celeste. Okay, there you are. You guys had a good show this morning?
We had a good show. It was busy.
Nice.
Yeah, it went by quick, buddy. Good to see you.
Well, so it's also, I thought, was just really fascinating that we have some pilots. We have a lot of retired military here and a lot of retired airline pilots as well. Fox 10 reached out to a couple of those, one military, one in the commercial air traffic business,
right?
Who have flown in that area around D.C. a lot. And what they say is that it is one of the most congested and controlled airspaces on Earth, and it can really present a challenge. Take a look.
Rotary wing corridor for Blackhawks, or for those VIP transports that 12th Aviation flies, follows the Potomac River. And so it flies right next to Reagan International, where the planes are coming in and out on every half a minute.
When you landed on that runway, they often wanted you to expedite down the runway so you get past where the intersection was. And then once you're past that intersection, they can release the plane that's waiting on the north runway to go that way without fear that it's going to run into you.
So once again, the major headline coming out of this morning, a decision from the FAA to basically take all of the helicopter traffic that goes anywhere in that area around Reagan National and just shut it down.
Yeah.
Indefinitely.
I think that's the only wise thing you can do after something just completely tragic happens like this, because it could have been avoided. But you would have had to be able to know what to do in the quick moment. It's just like seconds.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking that it took something like this to happen to make some changes.
And we've been hearing the audio that's been coming out, and it sounded like the Black Hawk helicopter pilot requested visual separation so that he could, keep an eye on it, like he had it in his sights. And then the collision happened. And as you're getting closer, how are you not able to veer away when you see this, I mean, it was a CRJ. It was not like a big 747 or something,
Well,
but still a major aircraft.
Two things quickly. One is, and I believe one of the pilots we spoke with this morning said there's a lot of light noise because
Oh,
it's so
yeah.
narrow. You have not just the lights from the plane, but the lights from the cities along the Potomac River. And so sometimes at night, it kind of all blends together and becomes a
Sure.
little hazy.
Yeah.
The other thing, I heard a general speaking on a national stage, and this was yesterday, and he said that night vision goggles can sometimes diminish your visibility by 40%.
Is that right?
And so it can be difficult. So that's why they use them maybe when they're at war or in third world countries, our
Sure.
military, because there isn't a lot of other light noise.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Okay.
sometimes, depending on whether or not they were using that, if you have a lot of light noise around you, it can actually diminish your ability to see things clearly.
There's just so much to learn
There
here, I
is.
think, in the coming months. But the overriding question is, why have helicopters been using that corridor of all corridors, instead of a different route? And maybe that'll be just locally one of the things that comes out of it.
Right.
But our poll question this morning, Celeste, does have to do
Yes.
with it. And we have plenty of folks with plenty of opinions. Should the standards be tightened for hiring air traffic controllers? 15% are saying, no, it's not the standards. They're just fine. Just start hiring more people. Then option 2 is the clear choice this morning. Yes, only the best and brightest in those jobs. But then we have a third option there, which is just a little below 10% now, says, I'm not sure, but I do know that pay definitely needs to be raised.
Well, I think you take a look after 9/11, we made changes with TSA. Now everybody gets screened.
Mhm.
I think when you have a tragedy, you have to make some changes. And I think maybe making some changes where you hire, the best air traffic controllers, but not just that, but you pay them really good money. I mean, think about all the lives that are in their hands.
Right.
The quick decisions they have to make, the big airports they have to maneuver, and sometimes they're dealing. I mean, think about it. There's humans. I know we have autopilot, but humans driving these planes. And a lot can go wrong if you're not really prepared to handle some of these situations quickly.
Yeah.
So, Fox 10 talks, of course, the poll question. The winner right now, 77% of you say only the best and brightest in some of those jobs.
Here's what Ty says. Ty 108080. The standards are already so strict. The job is so difficult. I fear tightening them would actually make it harder to fill the positions. And then Louis Gonzalez says they have enough people to cover all the openings, maybe recruit and offer more training programs. We'll be getting into more of your thoughts on that coming up. But right now, mystery cam time. Where do you think this is? Well, Celeste is so
Yes.
good at interacting with you guys, our loyal audience here on Fox 10 Talks. And let's just see, Celeste, do we have any guesses so far? On a cold day somewhere. It's not here. It's not even northern Arizona.
I thought, my goodness, is this a cold spot? It is a cold spot.
Yeah, it
Jim
is.
Fine on YouTube in the chat box said he thinks it's Delaware.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds like a pretty good guess,
Yeah, I
actually.
think-
They got
I
a lot of
think
water
so.
there. I'm thinking that's a lake, right? All
Yeah.
the boats are in dry dock now.
Lake effect snow.
It
Where do they have lake effect snow? Michigan.
Well, that would be especially around like Buffalo, New York.
There you go.
You know, it blows off the lakes, the Great Lakes there, and just dumps on. I think if you want a snowy city
Yes.
and still a major city, Buffalo is your
Go to.
go-to. By the way, our one designated Buffalo employee,
Yes.
Desiree, had her baby.
She did.
Little Demi,
We had her on the air at 8 a.m. this morning. She was so cute.
which was so great.
So cute.
Yeah, and just a little 5-pounder.
I know, small
Yeah,
little baby.
yeah. A little bit petite.
Yeah.
We're all so happy.
I said she's on a new assignment. She's on a new assignment for a couple of months.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, mama assignment.
Being a mama.
Okay, we have a couple
so-
of other guesses, Ron.
All
Lil
right.
Philosophy says Nebraska.
Yep.
Sherry says Florida when it snowed last week. LOL. Paul Humphrey says Kansas. Tyler Lewis said he's going to say Michigan. And Linda Monter said Vermont. We also have a Wisconsin. I'm going to go Wisconsin on this one as well.
Are you? Okay. I'm going to go Celeste
Yes.
with one of the M's, but I can't decide which
Oh,
one.
Minnesota or Michigan?
That's you a mind reader? It wasn't going to be Maryland.
No.
I'm trying to think if
Minnesota
there are
might be
other-
actually a really good guess.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go there.
Oh, you changed. Is that allowed? I'm just looking at Darla. She's our judge. Darla says yes.
Yeah, Darla gave me a thumbs up.
Darla is just way too. She's encouraging of your victory.
Well, me and
is what's
Darla are like
happening.
this.
Yes,
That's
I
why.
know, and I don't even know how to complain about it. Okay, so you said Minnesota.
Yes.
I will say Michigan.
Okay.
Here she is, everybody. Let's just see what the answer is.
Baudette, Minnesota.
Oh, you guys win. That's a team effort of Celeste and Darla.
And Darla.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we do have, Celeste, some other stories to get to this morning
right.
that to me are just totally fascinating. Did you hear what happened over at Banner University? Apparently, we have one of the top doctors in the world at multiple birth deliveries.
Okay.
And so this particular doc, we had a family who flew in from Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
which might not have been a bad guess there on the
So
mystery
true.
cam, Snowy. When they learned they were having not one or two babies, Celeste, and not three, they were going to have 4 at once.
Oh.
So we're talking quads, not
Yes.
twins or triplets, quads. They said
Quadruplets.
they looked all around the country. They said Phoenix, Arizona, Banner University, and there is a hospital there, and there's a doctor there who delivers. In fact, I think he said he's delivered over 100 quad births.
Yeah, there is. Before Phoenix Children's Hospital, I believe, launched their NICU unit.
Yeah.
Banner, Good Sam is where they had it located.
Okay.
So the Valley has been known for having lots of folks
Yeah,
and families
right?
here.
Yeah, they're really a treasure to us here in the Valley. But anyway, listen to what he said, and then Mama.
Okay.
Here we go.
She put her hand on my shoulder and she said, I have to tell you something. And then she said, right now there are 4 of them. And I didn't know what to say. I was just shocked.
They started with one embryo, and that embryo, between day 4 and day 8 of life, split into 3. And they would share a placenta. And then one of the babies decided it wanted another sister, and it split somewhere day 9 to day 13 of life.
Oh,
Is that amazing? And I love the way he
wow.
put it, too. One of the babies decided she wanted a sister.
Oh,
So
so
they said, look, we've
sweet.
already split a couple of times. Let's do it one more. And that was somewhere around day 9 to day 13. It's
Right.
incredible.
Yes, you can see those heartbeats that early
Yes,
in
right.
life.
Yeah.
They have heartbeats.
Yeah. So they do say the odds of that happening where it's not just instantaneous that you have 4 little embryos in there, but that they are splitting and splitting. that spontaneous quadruplets happen roughly 1 out of every 11 million birds.
Wow. That
So
is
we may not
amazing.
hear about another one of those for anywhere in the USA
Yeah.
for years to come.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe not in our lifetime, Ron.
quite possibly.
Unless we
Celeste.
live forever. We may discover the secret to the long life,
Yes.
to living forever.
Okay.
And then it's like we're Noah. Wasn't Noah in the Bible like 600 years old or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
What would that
I
be
think
like?
there were some other old timers in the Bible that were even older.
That's
like
true.
700 or 800 or 900
Plastic
years.
surgery, please. I'm going to
Right.
live to be 600.
Right. And then they introduced chemicals to our food.
Oh, no. Red dye number 3.
Right. Aspartame in soda. Anyway, all right, on to our next story. I can't wait to see this, Celeste, and share it with you guys in our audience. Because we have an iguana falling out of a tree.
Uh-oh.
And then they go splat, but they live.
Uh-huh. Is this at your house, Ron?
No, it's in Florida. It's always
Okay.
in Florida. So it's in the Miami Beach area. But I asked our editor, as you watch it now at home with us, I asked Jeff Haggerty, our
Yes.
editor, to give me a slow-mo version.
Oh.
Because it happened so fast on this Ring cam or whatever it was just like, boop, there he is. So if you're ready, here we go with the slow-mo replay of one iguana down. Ready? Here we go. Look, that was it.
Wow.
Even slow-mo. It's like so fast.
Did his tail come down first?
Is that what happened?
Or yeah, it kind of looked like it initially.
Yeah.
Do you have another look at it right here?
I
is
think
that-
we do
oh,
have it
here
on
he
the
is.
loop.
Here it
Ready?
is.
One more time.
Oh, yeah. No, it was his like belly or
Yeah,
something.
no,
Wow. Very cool.
Okay, so they get cold, but this is their defense mechanism is falling out of trees.
Okay.
So that's
Oh.
what happened. Now, here's the aftermath to the story. The cat that ate the iguana.
No, that wasn't a very good defense mechanism. He lost his life.
I'm kidding about that part. All
Ron.
we know is the cat came by to have a little look-see,
Oh, and a smell and a sniff.
a smell and a sniff, and probably thought, you are not my kind.
Well, probably a little tough, right, to break into.
Right.
He's like,
A little chewy, a little crunchy and chewy.
This is a little gamey. I don't know about this one.
My question is, where did the cat appear? We don't. There are a lot of unanswered questions. But, eventually they wake up
Okay.
and the temperatures warm up and life gets back to normal. So I
Okay.
guess everything in the end is okay.
Everybody lived to see another day.
What would your opinion be, Celeste,
Yes, Ron.
of a story from the animal kingdom?
Oh, I would love that.
Would you?
On a Friday? Are you
All right.
kidding me?
Okay, here we go.
Please.
So I'm just going to quickly ask you the following question. Why did the crocodile cross the road?
Oh, to eat the human.
That's probably what he was thinking for sure. Well, here, let's watch. Here's the croc, and there's the sheriff's deputy off in the distance.
Oh my goodness,
And
that thing is huge.
There's the house in the background, and the homeowner put the green recycle bin out. I love how everything comes
Oh.
to a stop. He's almost in the crosswalk. I mean, he's observing most laws, but here he comes. Now, this is actually the funny part. Look at that one deputy with his hand on his service.
across the street.
Don't come this way. Here's the funny part.
Does he
This
get-
is kind of an
Oh, wow.
optimistic.
How did he slither
Look at him.
himself?
He's
Oh,
trying to figure out how do I know this is the way I was supposed to
Oh,
go.
wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. He must not have any like real bone structure in his belly because he's
Yeah.
able to just squeeze through that area. Look
He
how
really
huge
did-
he is here.
He really did slither.
Yeah. He must be. I wonder if crocs, well, are they in the reptile family, obviously?
I believe so.
Like snakes.
Yes.
And snakes can kind of slither into
Sure they
certain
do.
spots.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, he
This
wasn't
is pretty
deterred.
cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's almost kind of mesmerizing because he gets right to that point. He has a little bit of a big belly. He's been eating.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then he's through. And there's a little
Wow.
lake over there. So he was trying
Now
to get
there's
to the
two
lake.
deputies there
Yes,
watching.
of course. We have a massive response. But the interesting thing, Celeste, I've passed this
Yes.
story along
Wow.
before. My sister said when she moved to Florida, the realtor said, now that pond over there, if you see any body of water and you're in the state of Florida,
Mm-hmm.
assume there's an alligator in it.
Oh, yes. We have good friends who live in Florida, and they have their neighbors have a fence, not just around their pool,
Mhm.
but over the top of their pool.
Oh, for goodness
So it's
sakes.
almost like you're in
A cage.
a cage.
Right.
It's for mosquitoes and so you don't get eaten alive by crocodiles.
It's like a net.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's for
Well,
your own protection, Ron.
Okay, well,
That's why
good.
we stick you in the cage.
We want people looking out for us. Celeste, the list is out of the most romantic spots
Oh, okay. I like this.
in the USA, and 4 local restaurants.
Made
Happy
the
to
list?
report, made the list. Here we go.
This is a beautiful shot of the valley, by the way.
Chibo.
That's right down the street from us.
Yeah, right here downtown. First and Last.
Mm.
Dahlia, tapas, tequila, and wine.
Okay.
Sounds like they got the whole menu going
Yeah,
there.
they do.
And they're all downtown, all 3 of those.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then there's one out in the East Valley in Chandler called Elliot's Steakhouse.
Elliot's.
And it came in at number 69.
We should go check those out for the show. You
Yeah,
know,
we
like go
should.
see is it the ambiance? Do they have
Yeah.
live music?
There are no rules in the streaming business.
Right.
So I think we
Oh.
could do a show every day from each of those restaurants
Oh,
and sample.
that's a great idea.
Uh-huh.
Oh, do they read you a poem when you walk in? Like, why is it so romantic?
I
you
think
know?
it's maybe the ambiance combined with the food, combined with the service.
And the poem.
That's, by the way, from Yelp. But the question is, if so, I mean, good luck if you're looking for true love. We're on your side. But
Yes.
Celeste, they asked the following question to a lot of people, thousands around the country.
Okay.
And they were football fans, which is most of America.
Mhm.
Would you rather find true love or watch your favorite team win the Super Bowl?
Oh my goodness.
Now, across...
Wait, in person? Watch the favorite to your favorite team, like be in this.
I don't know. It doesn't say that. I mean, think about when Larry Fitzgerald caught that one pass the year that the Cardinals almost won it all.
Uh-huh.
Remember? We all
Mhm.
jumped off our couches. So you don't have
Yeah.
to be at the stadium. But anyway, 52% of Americans, of thousands of football fans, said they would rather have true love.
Oh.
But
that's
48%
sweet.
said on the love scale. Cardinal fans, by the way, are right at 50-50.
Okay. True love and wow, it's been a while since they won the Super Bowl.
But Detroit Lions fans, 74% say, I don't care about romance and love. I want to win the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that funny? I mean,
Maybe
they got
have
so close.
Maybe they already have the true love.
What is the one team? We only got 15 seconds left. What's the one team that only 22% said they would take a Super Bowl win? They're
Patriots.
looking for love. Yes.
Well, I'm guessing they won it 7 times.
I know. It's
By the
like-
way,
oh, of
thank you for
course.
chiming in on the chat box, by the way. Plenty of people said Super Bowl.
Oh, that's good. All right. Thanks for joining us today. But Celeste, we have to say our goodbyes.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.